Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is New Kid coming at you from the Spice Boys, and I'm going to be giving you the very first look and guide at how to play the new character Rex in Risk of Rain 2. Rex is a very unique character to Risk of Rain 2 because not only does he deal damage to himself, but he actually heals himself too, and he's the only character with built-in damage and healing mechanics that are self-inflicted. So he is a very interesting new character, and you're really going to have to practice up with him before you really get a handle on it. I played him for a little bit today, and he is very interesting. He's got a little bit of healing, he's got a little bit of self-damage, and he's one of the most interesting things that I really like about him is he can reposition with his utility ability, which I think is awesome. He's a super fun character. I've really been enjoying playing him. So let's break down everything about him, and we'll get right into it. Starting with Rex's left click, it is a triple burst projectile that fires a little bit slowly. It can be hard to hit those aerial creatures with it, but the very interesting part about it is it invokes his unique mechanic, Weaken, which on the third hit weakens enemies and also heals you for a percentage of damage, which is really good for him. Things that you can do with his left click, such as missing the first 2 shots and only landing the last one on low health enemies. That way you get the actual health steal back. This won't affect you later in the game, but it can be very helpful in the very first couple of levels before you get to that late game. That way you can get that sustain going. Rex's right click is a very interesting ability because it launches a mortar down into a small AoE and does a crap load of damage, but the only downside to this ability is that it deals 15% of damage to you, which is why the left click is such an important thing to be able to get all that health back. The right click is only on a 1-second cooldown, so you can really fire off those mortars very quickly. Rex's R ability is called Tangling Growth, and much like the name, it sends out a little seed that goes into the ground, pops up, and pulls all enemies into the middle, healing you for each enemy that's in there and rooting them and weakening them. It is insane. It's an insanely good ability. It's a mini Pandora's box. The only downside is that it does 25% of damage to you, so you really want to hit as many enemies with that as possible. That way you can also use your mortar shells to rain down destruction on all the enemies that you pull into the middle. Rex's utility ability is also very unique. When you press it and you're standing on the ground, it pushes enemies very far, and you can push enemies right into your Tangling Growth. That way you group them all together and are able to really rack up the damage on them. Or if you jump up in the air and you press that button, it is going to send you backwards a certain distance. Very interesting ability. So far, from what I can tell, Rex has a very basic combo to really maximize damage and getting all that health back. What you want to do is you want to lay Tangling Growth down, getting all the enemies that you can grouped together. Then you want to alternate your left and right click. Start with a right click, then go left click, right, left, and that's going to allow you to sustain as you're doing all that massive damage. You're doing a lot of damage, but you're also healing up at the same time, and that way there's no downtime in between. And it seems like that's what the designers wanted you to do, because it is perfectly spaced amount of time. You'll get 3 shots off, use your right click, get 3 shots off, and by the time the 3 shots are done, your right click is off cooldown. The 2 characters that Rex synergizes the best with when you're doing co-op is Mercenary and Artificer. Those are 2 characters that are really good at dealing with enemies or doing AoE damage, and so him being able to use his Tangling Growth to group all those enemies together, it allows you to just bombard a bunch of adds. You can take out adds in a hot second. It is kind of crazy at how well that these guys work together, and I wonder if that was the intention of the designers with making this character. Of course, items like sticky bombs, crit glasses, attack speed are all really good on Rex, but those are good on most characters, so I'm only going to focus on items that are particularly good for him. From my time playing this character, there are some items that you really want to get on him early if you can, and items that were previously not very good on other characters are actually very solid on Rex, namely the med kit. The med kit has never been a very high tier item for any of the characters, but since this is the first character that self-inflicts damage, being able to self-inflict 15% of your health and then heal some of that back is really good for him in the early game. 2 of the absolute best offensive items on this character are Gasoline and Will-O-the-Wisp. Since Rex is a character that is meant to group a bunch of adds together, being able to kill one enemy and have fire and explosion damage go off in an AoE around them, honestly, if you get these 2 items, even if you just get one, you will be killing enemies so quickly. A very solid thing to get on Rex is any sort of movement speed item. I'm talking energy drinks, goat hooves, even the red whip. All of these items will greatly help Rex, because one thing that he's really lacking in right now is mobility. His little jump knockback is good, but it is not enough to be able to survive a fight. He really needs a little bit of extra mobility. Get some Hopo feathers, get any sort of movement, get some waxing quails, and you will be set. The 3 best legendary items on Rex, in my opinion, are the Brilliant Behemoth, Ceremonial Dagger, and the Sentient Meat Hook. Brilliant Behemoth does a massive amount of damage to all the enemies that you have grouped together. Ceremonial Dagger will send out all the daggers after you kill all those enemies, dealing massive damage to bigger monsters that didn't get sucked up. And the Sentient Meat Hook will suck up all the enemies that you missed or couldn't knock into that circle in the first place. So those 3 items, if you get that, you're looking at a really solid run. Another thing that helps Rex is any item that helps you sustain. Hopefully you're getting Harvester Sights. Harvester Sights increasing his crit chance to already amplify his massive damage. That is huge, to be able to land a meteorite and just get healed for all of that damage that you've already done. That is one of the best sustain items that you can get on him. Honorable mention item to the Berserker Pauldron. The Berserker Pauldron is a very, very good item to get on him, since he groups up enemies. He can kill 3 enemies within 1 second, no problem. The attack speed, he doesn't seem to really thrive off attack speed like a lot of the other characters, so that's not really the benefit of getting the Berserker Pauldron, and so that's why I didn't include it as one of his must-have items. But the increase by the increase in movement speed by 50%, that is huge for him. So far, the 3 best items that I can see on Rex are the Foreign Fruit. Very early in the very early game, you really want to pick one of these up. That way you can sustain all that damage. You can focus more on damaging than sustaining, which will alter some of your combos. The Ocular HUD, which will increase the damage when you get all that AoE, just dealing massive damage to a bunch of people. And the Prion Accumulator, that way you group up all those enemies and you blast them down with a huge shot. That way you can just get rid of 50, 60 adds that are on the ground if you're in the late game. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help us out. And if you've been playing Rex, let me know what your thoughts and opinions of him are. I have a feeling that he is going to be a very, very good team player. Maybe not so much good for solo runs, but he's going to really dominate the team game. I think you're not going to really see too many rounds where somebody doesn't want to pick Rex just to be able to help out the team. Anyways, guys, if you want to check out the stream, make sure to come to SNB_newkid at twitch.tv. The Spicy Noise Boys still have a hacked account, so that is where we'll be streaming in the meantime. We will let you know when that changes. And if you want to join the Spice even more, you can join our Discord in the link below. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Peace, guys.